Hello, I'm Sam Fennick, and welcome to Business Daily from the BBC. How do you make $1 million before you turn 30? In our new series, we're speaking to 6 people from all over the world who have hit that milestone. Today, Sharon Sung.
In 2016, I actually quit my job and traveled the world for 2 years while building passive income because I started learning more about how you can make money work for you. And so I wanted that financial freedom, and I just started studying a lot more around that. And I think that those resources are available everywhere for people. It's free on YouTube and all these other places. There's so many great places that you can learn more about personal finance and building passive income streams.
Sharon is a former high school chess teacher, a marketing specialist. She was a digital nomad way before it was cool and now invests in property. She made $1 million before her 30th birthday by building passive income streams, saving and investing that cash. Oh, and she managed to travel around the world as well. It's quite a resume, isn't it? So what are the rest of us doing wrong? Is she somehow special?
No, I don't think I'm special. I mean, I do think I am privileged, and I really appreciate what opportunities I've had. But when I graduated college, I started with a $30,000 a year job, so not like a 6-figure job right off the bat type of thing. And just worked my way up, and then basically in 2016, I actually quit my job and traveled the world for 2 years while building passive income because I started learning more about how you can make money work for you and achieve multiple income streams. And that's something I wanted to create for myself. So I wanted that financial freedom, and I just started studying a lot more around that.
Sharon runs her own YouTube channel, blogs and tutorials to teach people how to do what she's done.
Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest, and today I want to tell you guys about my financial freedom journey from making $30,000 a year to millionaire at 30. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm all about teaching y'all how to build passive income, become financially free, and design your best lives. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my latest videos.
But how did she get started? Does it need a particular mindset, a grown-up attitude to spending and saving?
I basically lived at home for a lot of my life while, my friends were going out in the city, having fun, spending a lot more. I just wanted to save up as much as I could, so I was very cognizant of how much I was spending. So essentially, I'm always been kind of like that. I kind of equate time to money type of thing. So I back in the day, I would think, how much time did it take me to earn this much money? So then if I bought anything, that would help me justify if it was worth it or not.
That's a very mature way of looking at saving when you're in your early 20s. What did your friends think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was not the cool thing to do because, like I mentioned, everyone was having fun. So I was just like, I don't think it's worth it for me to move out and live in the city if I don't have to yet. And I mean, I was fortunate enough too. I feel like my parents really wanted me to stay at home. So I'm very thankful that they allowed me to. But it definitely wasn't the cool thing to do. So,
Do you feel like you missed out a little bit?
No, I still, went out when I could type of thing and had fun. So I always make sure to have a balance. I think for me, when it comes to spending, I'm more interested in experiences versus things. So that helps me a lot more. To me, material things don't matter that much to me, but life is short, so experiences matter a lot to me.
So you don't regret anything from your early 20s?
No, and actually I feel like that kind of sparked the whole 2 years of travel because I was like, well, I worked so hard saving and stayed at home for so much of my life. I'm allowed to kind of go out and see the world.
And where do you think you got that, or where do you think you developed your relationship with kind of saving and money?
Yeah, I definitely think my parents instilled that a lot. They really wanted me to be financially savvy, so they taught me a lot growing up. So I'm very fortunate that, I started off that way.
And what about your dad? He worked quite hard, didn't he, when he was bringing you all up?
Yeah, he definitely worked really hard. So my parents are actually from China and Hong Kong, and he was taking multiple jobs, supporting his way through college, and support, like helping his family type of thing. And they both sacrificed a lot to come here and give us opportunities. They gave up their entire lives essentially to come over here. So I'm very thankful that, they did all that for us.
What do you think in particular your dad kind of instilled in you working that hard?
I learned that it's not about how much you make, it's about, how much you keep, essentially. So that started me off really well, I think. In high school, I took multiple jobs as a chess teacher, actually, at multiple chess clubs, and I would just save that money up. Learning so much from my parents about that, I think that helped me a lot.
So your parents must have been very proud when you graduated from the University of California, you've got your bachelor's degree, you'd started your job, but then you packed it in to go travelling and to work on these kind of side hustles, as you call them. So what did your parents do then?
Yeah,
did they try and convince you not to go on this big trip of a lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, they basically did not want me to go. I think especially as a solo female traveler, they're definitely worried, but I think that all parents get worried, so totally understandable. But I remember I asked my mom, like, how does health insurance work while abroad? And she just started crying because she was like, I didn't realize you were serious. So, so I did it anyway because I think that I wanted to make sure I was living a life true to myself. And sometimes it's really easy to get pulled into what people expect of you or what people want from you. So that was part of the journey too, that like I wanted to make sure through this journey of being a digital nomad for 2 years, I could understand what I personally want and, things like that.
You're obviously very close to your mum and dad.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you didn't feel that, but you still went.
Yeah.
They didn't stop you from going, and that was part of your journey, I suppose, your growing up and maturing.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I'm really close with them, and a lot of my life, like, I always want to make sure they're happy. So this was definitely like a first time where I kind of went against it. But I think they understood that like I needed to do this, and there wasn't really going to be any stopping me because this was something that was just, I was obsessive about it.
So hang on a minute. What exactly is a digital nomad? What are passive income streams? And how exactly do you make money while travelling the world?
Well, first, a digital nomad is someone who can work location independently. I think, because of this pandemic, that's actually happening a lot now. But back in the day, it wasn't common that you could do remote work. And then passive income is essentially income that it might take some time and effort to build up, but little time to maintain, essentially. So when I first started out, my first passive income stream, I would say, was creating an Etsy shop. So I began selling digital products like Photoshop templates and Microsoft Word templates of things like resumes, save the dates, wedding cards, photography mini session ads, and more things like that. So, I was shocked within a few months I was actually making some sales on my digital products, but it wasn't like that much. But, I think it was in 2015, I was just making maybe $50 a month or, $100 a month or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this can work. So, every little bit counts in my opinion. So that was my first taste. Yeah.
And you'd looked at how long it took you to, the time investment that you put in to that, and you decided that $50 a month was enough for the time that you were putting into it.
Yeah,
to carry on.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if it's something where you keep getting sales every month, then that actually adds up a lot, right? So, 50 times 12, that's 600. But then if I keep growing that could be even more. And I eventually hit, over 1,000 a month and more type of thing. So as you build it up, like it can be more and more. So I first started with that one, and then I went into a Merch by Amazon business. So that is basically you sell custom apparel by uploading designs placed on hoodies, shirts, and other products, which will be listed on Amazon. So whenever people buy from your listings, you receive royalties, and Amazon's gonna print and fulfill your orders for you. So that's like another zero to low capital passive income stream that I attempted. And I just kept trying a bunch of different ones and then kind of documenting them on my blog. So teaching people how to do it as well.
And were they all kind of like small amounts of money, which when they come together, they amount to quite a lot, but...
Yeah, I mean, I was basically making like $4,000 to $5,000 a month after a while. So it was like Etsy, Merch by Amazon, Amazon FBA was another one that I did.
These side hustles, if we call them that, you were able to still do this while you went on your 2-year holiday.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I was trying to see if this was something I would just do forever. It wasn't really like a holiday. I was just trying to make a new lifestyle for myself, essentially. So I was like, can I support myself with passive income and then enjoy my life abroad? And because I've created these income streams, they're like working for me while I'm like seeing the world, right? I'm getting sales and things like that on these different income streams without having to like actively make that money. If that makes sense. I spent time setting those up, and then it's like little time to maintain to keep getting that income. I came back from the travels because I decided that just chasing that numeric goal wasn't that fulfilling for me. Like I needed to spend more time learning skills and creating something more impactful. I was actually saving and investing my money and like growing my nest egg, but it just wasn't fulfilling. Like every day I would just question like what's my goal, like what's my purpose type of thing. So ultimately you need to figure out what matters to you, and you have to make sure you are doing things that you love and not just chasing money, essentially. So that's basically my realization after those 2 years. Like I could have kept going and just kept trying to increase my passive income, but actually coming back and building this brand around personal finance and like around how to achieve passive income and things like that has actually been way more fulfilling. And ultimately, these past 3 months, I actually averaged around $33,000 a month or $34,000 a month. So like it's grown a lot by just kind of focusing on building one thing I'm passionate about and just focusing more on like the impact.
It might be easy to say that now that you've actually made $1 million.
It's true.
You are in a more privileged position to be able to sit back and go, okay, well, what do I actually want to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say back when I came back from everything, I was far from the million point, but I started, working the full-time position, was able to land a 6-figure position. Like before that, I hadn't worked a 6-figure position, and then I already had these passive income streams working for me, so that supplemented it even more, and I was investing all that money and started investing more into real estate. And then my personal brand took off, like I would say, in these last couple years.
At what point did you make it to that million threshold?
Yes, it was, I think, the beginning of last year. I kind of have this spreadsheet where I calculate my net worth, and I was like, wow, I finally hit that point. And I honestly think
and
it's
how
because,
did that feel?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, I couldn't imagine that that was going to happen because, I mean, back in the day, I was kind of far from it, but I think it exponentially grows as you are like creating multiple income streams for yourself, saving a lot of it, and then putting that back into investments. It can actually grow a lot faster. So I feel like your first like 100K is quite difficult, but like it can move a lot faster if you're focusing on the right things.
What's the next? What's the next point that you're looking at to keep you going, to keep you motivated? Are you looking at the next million?
I actually never had the million mark as a goal. So I was more interested in cash flow. So like having passive income that equated to X amount per month type of thing. The million mark just like happened. So I'm very happy about that. I think my next goal, instead of focusing on the money amount, just like do what I love. So it's more about like getting better at real estate, keep building the repository of content and courses and stuff like that can help people in these areas that I care about. So honestly, like that makes the journey a lot easier, I think, because it's easy to get burnt out if you're constantly like focused on the money and it's not as fulfilling.
So let's recap. Sharon's worth more than $1 million. She has a 6-figure marketing job, a growing property empire, and a lucrative personal brand. But what's it all for? If the bottom line isn't what drives her, then what does?
All of this stuff is about living life true to yourself and like having the time with family and friends and having experiences and, doing stuff that aligns with yourself versus like being stuck in something you don't want to be stuck in. So I think the way I think about it is like time is like way more important than money. So the way I created these income streams, it's more about the time that it provides and the freedom it provides.
And what do your parents think now?
I think they're very proud of me because they did tell me like they wanted me to focus on building something more impactful and bigger, and I totally agreed with that. And I would say they are proud of me because I'm doing that.
Sharon Sung closing this episode of a Million by 30 series on Business Daily. I'm Sam Fennick, and this programme was produced by Carmel O'Grady. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Twitter @BBC Fennick. And for more, please download our Business Daily podcasts.